Metro Council will be meeting once again tonight.
I want to start out by talking trash with Councilman Brett Withers, and he's on the phone with us right now. Councilor, thanks for being with us first and foremost.
Thank you for having me.
We have two landfills that we take our trash to, and both are about topped out right now. So what do you guys have on the table to talk about tonight?
Well, what we are looking at tonight is legislation to create a special solid waste commission for Metro government. We've actually had a zero waste plan for a number of years that Public Works has worked on, but with the landfills that we use nearing their capacity, not only are we going to have to figure out another solution, but the hope is that by creating this special solid waste commission that they can help us to look at all of our recycling and composting programs, anything that we can do to reduce the amount of materials that we send to landfills. And the hope is that that commission would be broad-based enough and also lend some credibility to all those efforts. But a lot of people do, but we really need everyone to get behind more on a countywide basis in order to solve this problem.
I'm just curious, just in your opinion, what grade would you give the city of Nashville as far as recycling?
I would give us a D.
Yeah. Okay. No, I was just curious. I was curious. I know that you're not talking about that.
We have a lot of people that. Yeah, we have a lot of people that do really well at it, but we have a lot of contamination in our recycle bins that we have already.
Yeah.
And some of the services that we have here just don't compare to what a lot of people are used to who've lived in other areas. So we have good work underway and good people doing it, but we need to do a lot more.
Appreciate your honesty.
I saw on the agenda it said backyard garage apartments. Elaborate on that.
So there is a housing type that's called a detached accessory dwelling unit, or a DADU for short. And those have actually been permitted they started in our historic neighborhoods to allow someone to build a housing unit in a backyard without, demolishing the historic house or upsetting the character of the historic neighborhoods. That's where they started. And so, but those are only permitted in areas that have duplex or two-family zoning. And so what this tool would do would be to allow that in areas that have single-family zoning, only in the urban part of the city, usually the part of the city that has alley access. And neighborhoods would have to opt into it, so it doesn't automatically just allow it everywhere. But it would give neighborhoods that have single-family zoning but don't necessarily want to see tall, skinny duplexes and whatnot, it would give them that opportunity that they could work with their district council member to apply for an area. It could be as small as a block or two, but neighbors in very targeted areas could decide if that's a good fit for them. But those housing styles are really common actually in a lot of other cities as well. They've been very popular in East Nashville where I live. And, in terms of, creating problems, I haven't had any problems out of those. And so another important facet of this legislation is that it would prohibit short-term rentals. So they would have to be used as housing, because we're really trying to make sure that we add some housing inventory. Yeah. Right now in a lot of our urban neighborhoods, the only houses you have are really large, very expensive houses. And this would allow the detached DADUs, usually it's maybe like a one-bedroom apartment, but there are a lot of people that need that housing style, and it would allow us to add those into some of our neighborhoods without changing the neighborhood character.
And a lot of people are using those as work from home spaces now these days, so I imagine a lot of people will be happy about this.
Hey.
That's right.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Councilor, thank you for your time. You guys are really getting into some red meat there on the council tonight, so we look forward to seeing what happens. Thanks.
All right. Thank you both.
Yep.